Chapter 604. Let them go. Granny Liao clenched her fists and said in a deep voice. Liao Kefeyan and Liao Qi had met their opponents. Both of them had injuries on their faces. They looked a little funny at the moment, but no one dared to laugh. But Liao Kefeyan looked anxious. He rolled up his sleeves and wanted to rush over and grab Hu Liansheng. All of you go back. Granny Liao shouted coldly again. Although she had been married for many years, she had always had prestige in the Liao family. A group of juniors respected her very much. Therefore, everyone looked at each other and hesitated for a moment. Liao Kefeyan. Granny Liao stared at the imposing Liao Kefeyan with a fierce look in her eyes. Liao Kefeyan stopped in his tracks. He looked at Granny Liao, then at the car, then turned around and ran away angrily. The others followed him back. Liao Qi and Zhang Yang were one step behind. The two of them looked back almost at the same time. With just one glance, they retracted their gazes. Granny Liao followed behind a group of people. When she saw that everyone had gone in, she turned her head and looked into the car. After that, she sighed deeply. Liansheng, I'll give you time to think about it. At this moment, Shan Yun's head was lowered in the car. Her face was pale and without any color. Her long eyelashes drooped down to cover her thoughts. Her hands were tightly twisted together. Hu Liansheng closed his eyes and leaned against the back of the chair after getting into the car. He did not say anything, but his entire body was emitting a cold chill, as if he wanted to freeze this area of space. Dead silence, terrifying silence. Shan Yun only glanced at him when Hu Liansheng got into the car, and then she maintained this posture. Her back was stiff, and there was a trace of coldness from thousands of miles away, because she didn't want to face Hu Liansheng. In the silence, Jian Yun suddenly heard Hu Liansheng laugh softly. Her fingers trembled, but she did not raise her head. What you said today, are you speaking from the bottom of your heart? Hu Liansheng suddenly spoke. His tone was very cold, like a frozen lake. It was as if he was talking to a stranger. Jian Yun's long eyelashes trembled. She felt pain in her heart again, but she still hardened her heart and said, Yes. Inside the car, there was silence again. This time, Hu Liansheng's entire aura changed. It was as if he had gone from the midsummer season into the snowy winter. His cold and cruel eyes were like a bloodthirsty lone wolf, as they suddenly stared at Jian Yun's face. Shan Yun felt as if she was about to freeze to death. And even more so was the sorrow and pain that surged into her heart like a tide. She suddenly felt as if she was about to suffocate, and she instinctively wanted to escape this place. However, before Jian Yun could even stretch out her hand, Hu Liansheng seemed to have long understood her intentions. He pressed the central control and locked the car door. At the same time, he stretched out his hand and fiercely grabbed Jian Yun's hand, forcing her to look at him. Look at me! Jian Yun turned her head. She did not dare to look at him, nor could she look at him. She was afraid that she would not be able to take it. Why don't you dare look at me? The veins on Hu Liansheng's forehead were bulging. His eyes were red. He was roaring like a wounded lone wolf. Let me go. Shan Yun closed her eyes tightly and shook her head in pain. I've had enough. What if I say no? Hu Liansheng was so angry that he almost went berserk. I said, bear with it for a while longer. Soon, it will be over. Why don't you believe me? Shan Yun suddenly burst out with anger. The humiliation she had suffered these days was still vivid in her mind. She was so proud, but she was being chased and scolded by so many people with vicious words. She was being trampled under the feet of those self-proclaimed noble people. At this time, Jian Yun did not know where she got the strength to push Hu Liansheng away. She opened her eyes and stared at him. Her dark eyes seemed to have ignited with flames. She said angrily, I have said it very clearly. It's not that I don't want to believe you. It is that if I love you and have to pay the price with my pride, I would rather never meet you. No, you can't. Hu Liansheng heard Jian Yun say this again and felt upset. He wanted to reach out and grab Jian Yun. He wanted to explain. Don't touch me. Shan Yun was struggling desperately. In the chaos, she pushed her palm on Hu Liansheng's chest. Immediately, he groaned heavily and bent down. Jian Yun thought that Hu Liansheng was trying to gain her sympathy. She wanted to take the opportunity to get out of the car, but no matter how hard she tried, she could not open the car door. There was no sound behind her. At this time, she also came back to her senses. Then, she turned her head and saw Hu Liansheng holding his chest with one hand and holding the passenger seat with the other. He lowered his head. She could not see his expression. She only saw the veins on the back of his hand bulging. Xian Yun immediately panicked. She hurriedly grabbed Hu Liancheng's big hand. Her voice was trembling. Hu Liancheng, what's wrong with you? Hu Liancheng still did not respond, but Jian Yun had already seen the cold sweat rolling down his forehead. Her mind was blank. Subconsciously, she held his face. Don't scare me. Hu Liancheng, I will call the doctor. Jian Yun wanted to get out of the car, but Hu Liancheng grabbed her hand again. Don't go. Hu Liancheng almost squeezed the word out from between his teeth. You're hurt, aren't you? He asked. Let me see if Liu Kefeian hit you just now. Xian Yun hugged Hu Liancheng and placed a hand on his face. Her expression was no longer cold. It was the gentleness and love that Hu Liancheng was familiar with. Tell me that what you said was fake, right? Hu Liancheng endured the pain that came from his wound and looked nervously at Jian Yun. Xian Yun looked at his pale face and the faint light that flashed in his eyes because of anxiety and pain for her. Her tears could not help rolling down. Her trembling fingers gently touched the corner of Hu Liancheng's mouth, where there was still blood that had yet to dry. Her heart hurt. It really hurt. Hu Liancheng did not wait for Jian Yun's reply. His eyes dimmed and his eyelids drooped. He covered the deep disappointment in his eyes. However, at this moment, he felt warmth covering his lips. The familiar aura was like orchids and bamboo. It was refreshing and refreshing. Hu Liancheng's tall body suddenly trembled. His eyelashes lifted, and he saw Jian Yun's face was right in front of him. She was holding his face and gently kissing the corner of his lips. Such a dense kiss was like a butterfly flapping its wings. It was gentle and intimate, and it caused the gloominess and anger in Hu Liancheng's heart to be dispersed in an instant. Hu Liancheng could no longer hold it in anymore. He reached out to hug Jian Yun and started to deepen the kiss. The scorching kiss was like a flame, causing the two hearts that had already formed a gap to merge once again. Their auras merged together, and the two hearts slowly approached each other. Don't cry, okay? It is because I was unable to protect you well that you trust me again, okay? Don't leave me. Hu Liancheng's large hand caressed Jian Yun's thin and pale face and kissed the tears on her face. Then, he pressed it against her forehead and his voice was choked. I love you. Without you, what meaning would there be for me to do all of this? Xiao Yun's heart fiercely hurt once again. At this moment, the atmosphere in the Liu family's residence was very heavy. Liao Zongli's face was dark, and his aura was fully unleashed. Liao Shigong didn't dare to speak, let alone the other people of the Liao family. All of them were cowering their heads, wishing that they could hide inside a shell. Everyone was afraid of Liao Zongli. Only the bastard Liu Kefeian did not have the eyesight to see through him. He even took the opportunity to complain. Grandpa, it was all that bastard Liao Qi who stopped me. Otherwise, I would have definitely brought that bastard Hu Liancheng back. This bastard actually went against the Liao family for a woman. Is his brain damaged? Shut up! Liao Qi glared at Liu Kefeian. This bastard was so stupid that he couldn't bring himself to talk about it. Wasn't this making his grandfather even angrier? Who do you think you are? How dare you ask me to shut up? I came out 3 minutes earlier than you, Liu Kefeian said angrily. All of you shut up. The one who spoke this time was Liu Shigong. With just a glance, he made the two brothers shrink their heads. That's good. Did you get the divorce agreement back? This was what Ma Fangfang was most concerned about. Liao Qi raised his hand and shook the divorce agreement in his hand. He frowned. I got it back, but it's useless. Everyone looked over and immediately understood what Liao Qi meant. This divorce agreement was missing a corner, and it happened to be Jian Yun's signature. Everyone was disappointed. Liao Qiu stomped her feet and was very annoyed. Grandfather, why must that woman sign? We can just let the Civil Affairs Bureau judge their marriage and divorce. As long as we get the divorce certificate, this matter will be settled. How can it be so troublesome now? Qiu, don't talk nonsense. Mu Fangfang quickly glanced at Liu Zongli and scolded Liao Qiu first. Mom, why am I talking nonsense? Little brother's side isn't, however. Liu Qiu was used to it. She did not think she was wrong because there was a precedent for this. Previously, her uncle's brother Tang did not get permission from his family and married a liquor seller. In the end, he angered his grandfather and directly got a divorce from the Civil Affairs Bureau. Silly girl, the situation this time is clearly different. Can't you tell? Liao Qi stared at Liu Qiu speechlessly. That coward Liu Keki can compare to Hu Liancheng? Liao Keiyu's eyes flashed, and she stopped talking. Father, what do we do now? Mu Fangfang frowned and looked worried. The news of Hu Liancheng and Wan Ru getting engaged has already been spread. But now, Hu Liancheng does not agree to divorce. I will go to the Mu family to talk about it. But there are still media outlets in the outside world. Mu Fangfang deliberately put on a troubled look. Yes, the situation is so tense now. That bastard Hu Chengfeng is simply a scumbag who wants to stir up trouble in the world. Not only did he cause trouble in the Hu family, he even caused trouble for our family. Why is Hu Liancheng not concerned about the overall situation at all? The one who spoke was another junior of the Liao family. His expression was filled with indignation. Does this matter have to be done by Hu Liancheng? Our family is really powerful. There's also Mu Yang and Bai Chengwan. Their abilities aren't any weaker than Hu Liancheng's. Why do we have to look for Hu Liancheng in this crisis? He's not the savior of the world, Liao Kefan said anxiously. He had never had a good relationship with Hu Liancheng. Since young, Hu Liancheng had always been on top of him. If Hu Liancheng did not continue to develop in the army, his family probably would not have a chance to talk to him now. His surname was clearly Hu. He did not know why his grandfather and the others regarded him as an outsider so highly. Instead, he, as his family's grandson, was despised everywhere in the family. What do you know? Liao Zhongli glared at him. If you have time, learn more from your brother. Don't be so brave and fierce all day long when you're outside. You are like a fool. Also, you are not young anymore. When will you settle your marriage? Take it as if I didn't say anything. Liao Kefayan immediately ducked his head and hid in the back, pretending to be invisible. Father, what do you think about today's matter? Liao Shigong, who hadn't spoken for a long time, looked at Liao Zhongli at this time. The two of them had similar facial features. They were both fierce and aggressive, full of the domineering aura of a superior. Actually, Liao Zhongli also had his own considerations. He saw very clearly now that Hu Liancheng had a deep affection for Jian Yun. For this woman, Hu Liancheng actually dared to contradict him. This was not a good thing. Initially, Liao Zhongli also thought that he might as well let the Civil Affairs Bureau judge Hu Liancheng's marriage as invalid. However, he knew that with Hu Liancheng's unruly character, he knew that he was afraid that he would flip over the Liao family. Therefore, after discussing, they took Mu Fangfang's opinion. As long as the woman called Jian Yun signed the divorce, they would allow her to stay by Hu Liancheng's side as an outsider. This was the biggest concession the Liao family had made. Who would have thought that the woman would not appreciate it? She really did not know what was good for her. After pondering for a moment, Liao Zhongli weighed the pros and cons again. He still felt that this matter could not be delayed any longer. This woman cannot be kept. Father's meaning is... Liao Shigong frowned, but there was killing intent in his eyes. I want to see who dares. Granny Liao's voice suddenly cut in with extreme anger. She walked over a few steps and glared at Liao Zhongli with anger in her eyes. If you dare to touch Yun, I will make you suffer. Little sister, you saw it yourself? What has Hu Liancheng become for that woman? If this goes on, how will he get engaged to the Mu family? If he couldn't get engaged, what would happen to the Liao family? The situation is so bad. Don't you know it yourself? Liao Zhongli immediately went berserk. I don't care. If Yun is in trouble, Liancheng will not be able to live either. I don't care about anyone now. As long as my Liancheng is fine, no one will dare to hurt him. I will not let him go, even if I have to risk my life. Granny Liao's eyes turned red when she finished speaking. Her aura was not any weaker than Liao Zhongli's. None of the juniors of the Liao family, including Liao Shigong and Mu Fangfang, dared to make a sound. They all knew that even though Granny Liao had married into the Hu family, her status in the Liao family was not lower than Liao Zhongli's. In fact, she was the only one who could speak to the old general. Little sister, you are making trouble for no reason. Take a look for yourself. Now that the Hu family has fallen into such a situation, isn't it that Shen Fangqi who is causing trouble? If Hu Xiangqian had listened to us back then, the Hu family would definitely not be like this now. Do you want our Liao family to be destroyed as well? Liao Zhongli clearly understood that Granny Liao was not someone to be trifled with, so his tone softened a little. He tried to use Shen Feiangqi's example to persuade the stubborn Granny Liao. Xian Yun's influence on Hu Liancheng was too great. If he did not get rid of her for a day, Hu Liancheng's heart would not be able to settle down. Yun and Shen Feiangqi are different. Granny Liao's eyes turned red. She looked around coldly. Listen well, Whoever dares to hurt Jian Yun, I, Liao Shufan, will definitely not let him go. Everyone did not dare to make a sound, because Granny Liao's expression at this moment was too terrifying. In the end, it was still Liao Zhongli who shouted coldly, "Let's stop here today and disperse." The main residence of the Liao family was very big. There were many rooms, and all the direct descendants had their own rooms in the main residence. However, only Liao Zhongli and Liao Shigong's family usually lived here. At this time, on the second floor of the Liao family's main residence, Liao Keiyu pushed open a door and walked in. This was her bedroom. Like other little girls, it was beautifully decorated and her eyes were full of pink. "Cousin?" Liao Keiyu saw Mu Wanru standing by the window as soon as she entered, as if she was looking at something. However, she was clearly in a bad mood, and her fingers, which were tightly holding onto the window frame, turned white due to the force. Liao Keiyu also walked over and looked along Mu Wanru's line of sight. However, she only saw a car that was far away. "That is cousin Liancheng's car." Liao Keiyu's eyes flashed with disgust. She curled her lips and said, "Did you hear what happened just now? I have never seen such a shameless woman. She's really good at playing this trick. She must have predicted that cousin Liancheng would come, so she did it on purpose." Mu Wanru's pretty face was also very gloomy at this moment. She was specially called over by Liao Keiyu today and said that there was a good show for her to see. She also guessed that the Liao family was going to treat that woman. So she came over very happily. She had been upstairs all this time. She could even hear the voices downstairs. When she saw that Liao Zhongli was also there, she was extremely excited. Because she felt that since Liao Zhongli had come out, there would definitely be no problem with this matter. Who would have thought that the result would turn around again and again? That woman had already signed the divorce agreement. Hu Liansheng suddenly rushed out and even let him take that woman away in the end. Mu Wanru did not say anything. Instead, Liao Keiyu saw that she was in a bad mood and took the initiative to console her. "Cousin, don't worry. Cousin Liansheng is definitely yours. Grandfather already said that Liao family will definitely not accept that slut. You are the most suitable person to match cousin Liansheng." Mu Wanru did not feel very happy when she heard that. Instead, she let out a long sigh and sadness flashed across her face. "But the person in his heart is not me." Liao Keiyu curled her lips and said disdainfully, "Cousin." He was just bewitched by lust and felt that it was a moment of novelty. There are a few men who are devoted to love. See, he will soon be annoyed with that woman. Liao Keiyu's words made Mu Wanru's expression slightly better, but she was still very worried. Although she agreed with Liao Keiyu's words, it was no longer a secret that she liked Hu Liancheng. But he had never shown any good feelings towards her. Even if she wanted to see him, she did not have the chance. This time, if it was not for the change in Hu family and Liao family coming forward to mediate, he would definitely not be so cooperative to show off his intimacy with her outside. Even if the news was all over the place and the photos were all very ambiguous. Only Mo Wanru, the person involved, knew that from the beginning until the end. Hu Liancheng did not show the slightest bit of passion. He always had a cold expression on his face. It was as if he was dealing with a mission. Other than taking pictures, she could not see him at all. "All right, cousin, don't worry. Look at you. You're so beautiful and capable. Look at the whole of Imperial. Which man doesn't love you? You should have been looking at that woman below. She's ugly and ugly. Her temperament is low. Cousin must have been bewitched by her methods. What can she compare to you with?" At the same time Liao Keiyu belittled Jian Yun, she held Mu Wanru's hand with a face full of admiration. Liao Keiyu's mother, Mu Fangfang, and Mu Wanru's father were siblings. The two of them had always been close. Mu Wanru had been very outstanding since she was young, and now she opened her own clothing company. But the main reason Liao Keiyu was so fawning on Mu Wanru was because although the Liao family had a big family business, the family was strict, and Liao Keiyu did not have much pocket money. She could not afford a high price for Mu Wanru's company for a few months of pocket money. Mu Wanru was generous and would give Liao Keiyu a gift every time there was a new design. "You have a sweet mouth. All right, what kind of clothes do you like? Go to my office and pick them." Mu Wanru pointed at Liao Keiyu's nose and smiled gently. However, Liao Keiyu did not notice that under Mu Wanru's gentle appearance, there was a malicious and angry look in her eyes that she tried her best to hide. Just now, when she was upstairs, she saw very clearly that after Hu Liansheng and Jian Yun got into the car, they seemed to be arguing. That woman wanted to get out of the car, but Hu Liansheng tried his best to stop her. In the end, the two of them actually directly kissed. This scene made Mo Wanru burn with jealousy. Her heart seemed to be bitten by a poisonous snake, and she wished she could rush over and tear that woman apart immediately. But she could not do that. She had to maintain a gentle and dignified image in front of Hu Liancheng. She also had to show a generous and capable side in front of the Liao family. Mu Wanru knew very well that the Liao family had only chosen her because there was a relationship between them. Otherwise, with Hu Liancheng's identity and the powerful backing of the Liao family, they could choose a suitable candidate from the other aristocratic families in the capital. No. She would not allow such a thing to happen. She had loved Hu Liancheng for so many years, and finally had the chance to be with him. She could tolerate him having other women, but his wife could only be her. Knock, 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 knock. At that moment, someone knocked on the door. Mom, why are you here? Grandpa, Dad? Liao Keiyu turned around and saw Mu Fangfang and Liao Zhongli standing at the door. She was shocked. We passed by here and heard a sound. We came to take a look. Mu Fangfang looked at Mu Wanru and said gently, Grandpa Liao, Uncle, Aunt, Mu Wanru was a little anxious and her pretty face turned red. Although Liao Keiyu called her here today, she was still eavesdropping. The Liao family was so strict and they did not have a good impression of her. What should she do? You heard it? Sure enough, Liao Shigong's face did not look good, and so did Liao Zhongli. Mu Wanru's face became even redder, and she looked like she was about to cry. She secretly blamed Liao Keiyu in her heart. If she did not call her to watch a good show, how could she be hated by the two generals of Liao family? All right, Keiyu, you are really a girl. It seems like you did not even say a word when you came, and even let Wanru stay here. If others told others, they would think that our Liao family did not treat our guests well. Ma Fangfang quickly came out to smooth things over. Liao Keiyu stuck out her tongue and hurriedly acted coquettishly with Liao Zhongli. Grandfather, don't blame cousin. I called her over on the spur of the moment. Later on, I didn't say anything. There were many males and few girls in Liao family. Liao Zhongli had always doted on Liao Keiyu. When Liao Keiyu acted like a spoiled child, his stern expression immediately eased up a little. He turned to look at Mo Wanru, who was crying. For some reason, another proud figure that looked like a pine bamboo flashed in front of his eyes. Liao Zhongli frowned without batting an eyelid. Wanru, did you hear what just happened? Mu Fangfang saw that Mu Wanru was embarrassed by Liao Zhongli's fierce gaze and hurriedly held her hand. She patted her hand and said apologetically, Sigh, this matter has made you suffer.